So today we're going to have a quick look at an ESC I got in, and this is one of the prizes for the local lads at Norfolk FPV, and this is the Aikon 45 amp 6S BL32 ESC. And Aikon ESCs are probably the best ESCs you can get in my opinion. They're pretty bulletproof, and it's quite unusual for them to release so many new products as they're doing recently. So you get a nice XT60 connector, which is always useful. You get a ton of different connectors, and you get spare for whatever particular flight controller you're using, which is nice. We get a little capacitor, which is 35 volts, 470 UF. If you're a racer, you'd probably want to change that to a 50 volt one, but I always personally use 35 volt. I've never had any issues. And here is the ESC. I've got to say, look at that. That is a beautiful thing. And it appears to have been conformal coated. So hats off to Aikon. I think that's probably the most beautiful ESC I've ever seen. And it's really, really slim, as you can see. So it's going to be super easy to mount if you're flying a low profile quad or you're a racer. Let's see what it weighs. 12.67. So it's a lightweight thing. Pointless putting this on because it's way longer than you would actually use. So this guy is using an F3 processor. So this is one of the ESCs that if you were running KISS, you could use the D-Shot 2400 protocol, or vice versa. If you're flying flight 1, you could use, what do they call it, D-Shot 64. So basically the newer protocols, and I know that Betaflight have recently said that they're not supporting anything higher than D-Shot 600 recently for various reasons. But personally I think Betaflight have lost the plot of late, but we won't go into that. So this is just really a quick look. You've got a current sensor there, you can see we've got loads of FETs and caps, and it's a really lightweight thing. It is pretty long. If I just move my mat up, there's some measurements for you in case you're curious. So what, sort of 4.5 centimeters long by pretty much 30 wide. But yeah, really beautiful ESC. Kind of wish I wasn't giving this one away actually. And as I said, this is really just a quick look. I'm not going to use this, but Aikon have an amazing reputation in the hobby, and the reason they have that reputation is they don't blow up, or they very rarely blow up. So if this is as reliable as the ones that I've used on my other quads, I've got Aikon ESCs on one of my CGs, which have been on there for a good 12 months. The quad has been in a river and the ESCs still work. It spent the night up a tree when it was raining and the ESC still works. It's just one of those companies who tend to get it right, whereas if you buy a cheaper ESC, obviously you're taking a bit of a punt. There's a few little nice features on it. You can see you've got a capacitor hole just here, which you can use to mount your caps. I love the fact that they've conformal coated it, and the pads themselves, as you can see, there's the other side with the capacitor holes. The pads themselves look like they're pretty decent quality. I would prefer them to be hold personally, but that's something I like. Less danger of ripping the pad off. But yeah, this guy will do current sensing, but as I said, the main thing is it's got one of these newer F3 processors, so if you're running KISS and you don't want to use their slightly flaky ESCs, as I don't, this is definitely one to look at. So yeah, this is going to be going in the goodie bag of prizes, along with the career ear motors for the Norfolk FPV guys. So you won't be seeing me say anything about this, but if I hear anything from the person who uses it, I shall let you know. But yeah, I think this is going to be an ESC that I buy for one of my own builds actually. I just like the way it's really flat, and because it's an Aikon ESC, it'll be more than likely more reliable than the equivalent Airbot. So yeah. So for a while now I've wanted one of these, which is a little LCD or TFT with an FPV receiver, and this is the Eachine 5-inch version, and this was on one of their sort of products that they were selling over, or should I say touting over, their 13th anniversary sale, and as you know, my stuff from them got delayed. So this is a little 5-inch LCD display with a HUD to stop the sun reflecting off the screen, and a little mount. On the back we've got two RPM SMA connectors for your antenna, and it's not diversity, it's just a single receiver. We've also got a DC power in, and we've got a video connection as well. And I thought this guy would be really nice for sort of testing cameras when you were setting them up, rather than messing around with my goggles. And it's also got a built-in DVR, so I thought it'd be a nice way just to sort of test and review different cameras. So if you see on the back of it, we've got 3 buttons, and if you hold the bottom one down it will search, but essentially the top button is the different bands, and you can see the middle button gives you all the different options. The top changes the channel, the bottom changes the band. So I'm on a race band, which I've gone right past. I'm on race band 3 on this quad. So if I just flick through, and there we have the display. If I just take this little screen off, you might be able to see it better. So this comes with a built-in DVR, and apparently will do HD recording, but as I said, I really wanted it just to test camera setups. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed with the screen. If you look at it in a normal angle, it sort of whites out a little bit, like those really cheap LCDs did when LCD TVs came out. And you kind of have to look at it, if that's your eye, looking this way. You kind of have to hold the screen that way to get the full contrast of it. Almost like it's been designed that way actually. Maybe it has, because that's probably the angle that you would be looking at it if you mounted it to, you know, a radio or something like that. But for my purposes, when I'm looking at it sat on my bench, I can't see well enough. Everything just sort of goes into sort of milky white. Whereas if I flip it up like that, the image is much clearer. And the camera you're looking at through at the moment is the Cadex Ratel, so it's a pretty good camera in these lighting conditions. So I think the screen is pretty poor, albeit for setting up your quads and stuff like that. It's certainly absolutely fine. It's just not going to give you the sort of crystal clarity that you're looking for. So if we look at the DVR footage, so this is a 16:9 display, and the video, or should I say the DVR, clearly if you look at it on a big screen it looks awful, but the actual DVR quality is actually much better than you would get on, you know, a Fat Shark. Probably a bit less than the Skies on DVR, and this is in HD, and we've got a bit rate of about 17K according to the file. So it is recording in HD, but clearly there's a limit to what it can do with such a poor quality feed as you'll get on an analog camera. So if I just stop that, you can see on the right hand side here we've got the timer for the DVR, sort of 5, 6, 7. If I sort of wave this quad around, you can see all the crap in my garage as usual, which is reverting back to its rather messy stage relatively rapidly. You've got a number of different recording options. So if I just, and you start it by basically pushing this lever backwards or forwards. So if I just stop it. So yeah, to summarise this, it's a nice little gadget for my workbench, and it does do pretty much what I wanted it to do. But the fact you have to sort of look at this peculiar angle to get any sort of clarity or contrast to the screen is really disappointing. But I've noticed since I originally requested this that the price has dropped a hell of a lot. I think it's about 38 quid at the moment. So for that price, if you want another gadget in your armoury, obviously you can take this guy to the field as it's got its own built-in receiver. But as a desk gadget in your office or in your garage, as I am, it's a pretty handy thing to have. It comes with a little DC 12 volt connector, but obviously it comes with, presumably this is a Chinese plug. So I've got loads of these things floating around from various bits and bobs. So I'm just using the one that I already had plugged into the wall for some LEDs or something. And this comes with a built-in 650 milliamp hour battery. Seems to take ages to charge, but once it's charged, I haven't had to charge mine yet in the few times that I've used it. So yeah, if you're looking for one of these for 30 odd quid, it's definitely worth a punt, but just don't expect crystal clarity from something so cheap. So that's it. Quick look at the Eachine 5-inch FPV monitor. Glad I've got it. Wish the screen was a bit better. Cheers guys. Thanks. Bye bye.